Hey folks, MixRPD here with you. So I'm just starting to mix an album, a rock album sort of thing. I started yesterday, second day in, and I just thought, hey, it's a good opportunity to show how I would start mixing a track. So I wanted to start doing some videos on my mixing template, which we see here before us in all its glory. I've just so I've set this thing up over the past, few years, continuing to refine it, right? Basically, it's just all my technical stuff, all my routing, that kind of stuff, all my options are set up beforehand, and then I can just import my new tracks into it like I have here and kind of get started as quickly as possible. So the first thing I would do here is just grab all my drum tracks, and I have in Cubase here on this feature Q-Link, where if I do something on one track, it's going to do it on all of the tracks. So that's useful. You'll have to figure out how to do something similar in a different DAW, I suppose. But so what we're going to do here is just route all of these drum tracks, like change the output of them to the drum bus. So now they're all going there. And then we're going to color code them. I have a color here for drums, and it's this color for whatever reason. So now I know visually that, like, right away, these are my drums, and I can, like solo all of the drum tracks here now, see, and do processing on the drum bus and control the fader, control the level of the drums overall, send to effects, a whole wonder of things, really. And then, okay, so from there we have some percussion tracks, a shaker and tambourine. So we're going to grab those and we're going to, oh, I've already done this. So let's pretend I didn't do it. And we're going to do it again. And go percussion. There we go. So now those are both going to the percussion bus, and we have a nice purple color here. So you get the idea, right? We send the bass to the bass, we color it a bassy color or something. All the tracks like that, right? So let's just pretend I did them all. And then from there, what am I going to do? I'm going to play all the tracks. So here, actually, let me just do all of them, since I can do a better demo if I do. So we'll do guitars here. I get lazy sometimes. It really doesn't take much time though. So guitar bus, there we go. Oh, pedal steel, we'll send that there too. And we'll pretend it's the guitar color, that's fine. Or actually, I think, see, this is where you have to consider some stuff. I think I'm actually going to send the pedal steel to the acoustic bus and the harmonium, I think. Oh, and the mandolin, actually, to the acoustic bus. So we'll do that. And then make it a nice acoustic color. These, I'm going to consider these to be like keyboards. So I'm going to send them to my keyboard bus, which is called keys. And we have the strings here. That I'm not sure what actually, I think I listened to it before and it was kind of like a synth. So the strings and the theremin here, I'm going to send to my synth bus. If I wasn't sure though, I would probably just send them to, I have like an instrumental bus after all of these individual instruments here. So I'd probably just send it to this here instrumental bus or something like that. Or maybe I'd create something, who knows, there's no rules. Onward we go. Let's just color those blue. I have a blue synthesizer, so blue is my synthesizer color. You can come up with your own system. These are going to be lead vocals, so we'll do that. Lead vocals. Also, a good tip is learn your keyboard shortcuts, because that'll save you a lot of time navigating around your DAW. So here, finally, we have some background vocals, and that's going to finish it off, and then we can get started here. So from this point, now I have everything going through like my system here, right? It's going to one of these buses, and then from there the instruments go to the instrument bus, big surprise. All vocals, it will be either lead vocal or background vocals, and that will then go down to the all vocals bus. And then I have an effects bus as well, just to keep all the effects right where they're supposed to be. And then it's onward from there to my master bus, etc. So now they're in the system, and now I'm going to play the tracks, and I'm going to see how loud they are. because a lot of the time you get tracks and, you know, it's like it's going way over 0 decibels. So I just have a bit of a limiter here set up just so we don't send distortion out to you guys on YouTube. But we're gonna see here on the output, or on the gain reduction, sorry, of the limiter, how much it might be going over 0. So let's play the track. So this track's not too bad, but we're gonna get some peaks here, and it's gonna go up, right? And we're gonna get some gain reduction at some point. Anyways, I'll save us some time, because I can remember from before it was about 3.4 decibels. So basically what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to grab all the tracks and I'm going to turn them down, the waveforms, not the faders, but the waveforms, turn them down by 5 or 6 decibels, let's say. Maybe more. I mean, you know, sometimes it's a lot more than that. So now we have some headroom, right? We have some room to work. So now from there, I'm gonna kind of just start to do a bit of a rough mix, right? Like, I mean, the bass is kind of nowhere. I mean, let's look at the bass. Look, it's tiny. So I'm gonna start turning the bass back up. There, so I had to go like plus 5 decibels before you really started to even feel the bass. And already the track just starts to feel better, right? And then if there's any panning that makes sense, you know, I might start to do that, right? Like maybe I'll start to look at these background vocals and pan them out, or the drums, or something like that, right? Like here we have an overhead left and right. And I've gotten stereo tracks in this case, but so if I wanted to go hard left and hard right, because these aren't stereo tracks really. They've come in as stereo tracks, but really it's just a mono thing that's on a stereo track. So I could go all the way right with this one and all the way left with this one. So immediately you feel more width on the drums, right? But maybe you don't want that much width, so maybe you go not so far out. But either way, you just start to do anything that sort of starts to make sense. It sounds like there's some kind of weird noise there or something. Not sure what that is. But yeah, just kind of get into it, right? Like the shaker, let's hear the shaker. Where is the shaker? Okay, the shaker's really quiet too. Okay, so that's a little bit too much shaker, and that's a lesson why you shouldn't really necessarily work in solo too much and think it's going to work out, especially when you're not experienced, right? I know what I'm doing a little bit at least, so yeah, you know, I can recognize when things are not going to work out, and it's about putting it in context, right? As soon as you put it in context, you realize, oh, that shaker is way too loud. So let's play it now. That starts to sound a little bit more reasonable, somewhere around there. And then maybe we want to pan it to one side, right? Like we have a hi-hat. You could listen to the overhead mics. So I hear the hi-hat more in the right overhead. So it would be panned more like the audience perspective, like you're looking at the drums, right? And the hi-hat's on the right side. So if the hi-hat's on the right side, I might pan the shaker to the left side, but we have a tambourine here as well, and that doesn't come in until later. And the shaker's in the whole time. So yeah, I would probably pan the shaker to the left side. Let's see how that goes. And then immediately you can hear the shaker doesn't need to be as loud now because it has its space on the left side. So you can see that feels better. So you can see you just start kind of doing some common sense stuff and you wouldn't believe it. Like, I mean, I haven't used a single plugin yet. Before you know it, the song will start to sound a lot better. I mean, it already kind of is. And I'm pretty distracted here talking to you guys. I would be light years ahead if I wasn't shooting a video and talking. But yeah, so I mean, you know, the vocal's pretty quiet, right? So let's maybe turn the vocal up a bit. Okay, so that's a little better. I know, you know, I'm probably going to use some compression and some processing down the line with the vocal, and the vocal level is going to come up. So I don't need to pump it up too much at this stage, but that sort of gets it more in the ballpark. Anyways, I think you get the idea, right? And then I have all my my options set up here, right? So I might be like sort of like, okay, let's do something on the individual track before it even gets there, or let's turn this EQ on here and start with a high pass and set that where I want it. And I like to use this compressor a lot on vocals. I don't use it every single 100% of the time, but it's a frequent one, so it's set up there. I might decide I want the RVox before it, so I might use that on the individual track, or you know, it's just a lot of options set up for me, so I don't have to go searching for plugins and doing a lot of technical setup and stuff like that. It's just best to get all that stuff set up ahead of time and then focus on the creativity. So yeah, I hope this helps. I'll probably get in and do a whole thing on my template and show you guys everything that's going on, but we'll wrap this up for now. And yeah, I hope you're having a good one and you're mixing well. Have a good time.